guys, what's up? It's the Knife Enthusiast here, coming at you with a review video on my personal favorite EDC knife, the Bradley Mayhem. Now, before I get into the review, I just want to show you this is my personal Mayhem, and I want to show you the custom handles I have on it. And I bought this from the original owner. He had it custom anodized at a factory or a company, or I don't know exactly where he got anodized at. But it's called Flame Anodized, is what I believe he told me, and just wanted to show you guys that real quick. So, as you can see, all the pins have been anodized brown, and the flames are here. As you can see, they have this nice brown flame with a blue outline around them. So you can see that going all the way down the handles of the knife. And it's just amazing. It's just a subtle little anodizing that just looks fantastic, and it really blends with these handles very well. So that's nice. Now, moving on to the review. This is my, like I said, personal favorite EDC knife, and I'm talking about all EDC knives in general. I'm not a folder guy. I just never got into folders. To me, if you own a folder, you're going to use it a lot. And do a lot of work with it, kind of thing. And when you get into more expensive folders, like $200, $300 range, it's a little expensive for me to just beat up and abuse. Whereas Balisongs, you don't really beat them up as much because you're not going to be using them in most cases. You're just going to be flipping them. Now this one in particular, I do use. The main reason I use it is because it is a Balisong, and since I'm a Balisong guy and I practice the most with Balisongs, and I'm used to using Balisongs, I take this with me everywhere. So I can use it as a Balisong, but it's kind of like a folder in a way. So, first of all, the first thing I really like about this Balisong that they did right was they curved the handles. Now, most Balisongs have straight handles. Zoom in here real quick. Most Balisongs have these straight handles, which aren't very good for EDC because you don't really get a solid grip on it, because it's not like they have finger indentations for you to grab onto. It's just a straight steel handle, titanium, whatever the material is, and you don't get much of a grip, and it's kind of slippery. So when you're using that, it's not that big of a deal, but I feel like it would be easier to slip out of your hand than a curved handle Balisong, which this one is. As you can see, there's this subtle curve going down the Bradley Mayhem. So very nice solid curve, just enough so you have your fingers fit very comfortably into the curve, and you have this little kind of a finger twirl here for your index finger, along with some jimping on the spine, which I'll talk about in a second, which is very good for just getting down and just really cutting, just gripping it very firmly and cutting what you need to cut, boxes or whittling, or cutting trees, batoning, that kind of stuff. So it's very good in that sense. Another feature that I like about it is that the handles are titanium. Now, a lot of you may be wondering why that's good. Well, the main EDC Balisongs out there, because they have some other EDC Balisongs, but they're by custom knife makers. But for the most part, the production EDC knives, that are just made to be an EDC Balisong, are the Benchmade 53 and the Bradley Mayhem, along with the Metal Mark by Microtech. Now, the Metal Mark also has titanium handles, but there's another reason why it's not as good as the Mayhem in my opinion. But the main thing I want to focus on is kind of like comparing it to the 53, because the 53 and the Mayhem are kind of like the two top competitors for EDC Balisongs. So the reason I like the Mayhem the best for EDC is the titanium handles really help, because on the Benchmade 53 it's pure G10, where G10 is a very industrialized hardened plastic basically. So G10 is basically plastic, whereas titanium is a very sturdy metal. It gives you a nice firm grip. But don't get me wrong, the G10 is very sturdy as well. I just prefer titanium over G10. They're fully G10 handles, which I've never had a 53 and I haven't tested it out, so I can't really tell you, the difference there. But from, just personal experience, G10 is just not as good as titanium when it comes to Balisongs, or just any knife in particular, because making full G10 handles just doesn't seem like it'd be very effective to me. But that's a personal opinion. Now, that's the handles that I went over just now. One other thing I want to point out before we move on to the blade is I really like the Zen pins on here, because when you're doing Balisong, flipping it, because the most thing you're going to do with this knife is just a basic opening. You're not going to be doing much more of that, because you just need something simple to get it out and start using your knife. So the Zen pins versus the Tang pins kind of dispute. In my opinion, I like Zen pins more, because instead of the Tang pins, which are drilled into the actual tang of the knife, hitting into the side of the handles and eventually, denting your handles up so much they have to get replacement handles, it gets really expensive to replace titanium. Where, what I would just more prefer to have Zen pins, because they're these just little, stainless steel kind of rods, and they have this extension of the tang here, which just bounces off these rods, stopping your blade, instead of hitting the tang pin in here, which would hit in the handle. So instead of this extension of the tang going into the handle, it would have a tang pin flush kind of mounted on the blade here, and it would hit the handle. So in that sense, I like it, but both of them do a great job. It's not really that big of a deal, but for maintenance and stuff like that, Zen pins win. But for flipping, does not matter at all. Next up is the blade. I really love this blade for multiple reasons. The main thing is that it's a really beefy blade for cutting. So it's got this very nice, just fluent, beefy kind of thickness to it until you get to around the tip. And it just really helps for cutting when you're doing very precise cutting, like opening a box, or cutting a branch down or something like that, or just everyday tasks that you might need, like just zip ties, anything really. So I really like that in that sense. And this jimping, they could have been a little bit more aggressive on here, but the reason they weren't that aggressive is because you have to keep in mind that not only is this a very good EDC knife, it's also a Balisong, so you're gonna flip it, and you don't want something too aggressive to just chew up your hands. Now, it's not going to cut you, but it's just gonna make your fingers feel all raw and sore after a while, or pinch you sometimes. So you don't want anything too aggressive, and they did a pretty good job of doing a minor jimping. It's very subtle. It's not too much jimping. It's not too little. It's not even medium really. It's kind of in between, too little and just right kind of jimping. So it's not that bad. When you're working, it's sure very more effective than having a very crowned spine. And they crown the spine on the Bradley Mayhem, which I really like for flipping, but not as a EDC kind of aspect. So it has this very nice edge, which actually goes from the very end here all the way to the tip. So most knives would probably, start the edge maybe around here and leave off some space back here, which has no edge. It's just, there. The Mayhem actually has an edge all the way from the first part of metal that you can actually get to the very end on the blade. So I really like that aspect. Now, it also has the USA on the back here, Bradley on the front. This is an S30V steel, and I really like the steel for utility. So far, I haven't had any rust problems, so that's good. I had heard one of my YouTube friends say that he had a rust problem, but I haven't seen anything like that yet. Anyway, so the jimping for EDC is a decent amount of jimping. I really like it. For flipping, it's actually a pretty big problem, because I do flip this from time to time, just instead of using it in EDC. And sometimes when I'm doing full twirls or rollovers, it doesn't really get in the way that much, but on twirls you really feel it when you're coming over this index finger a lot. It'll just pinch your finger, and it'll be really uncomfortable when you're flipping. So in that sense, it's a little uncomfortable, but it doesn't pinch you every time. It's just occasionally it'll pinch you. So that's it for the blade. Moving on to the spring latch. It's I really love the spring latch. It's on the 42 as well. If you may or may not know, the Bradley Mayhem was designed by Bradley, but it was manufactured by Benchmade. So Benchmade put their spring latch from the 4X series Balisongs on the Mayhem, which makes it an even better flipper, and also a good utility because it does latch lock. But I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to chip off more of the metal than I have to or scratch it up. So in that sense, the main reason I like Balisongs for EDC is because they are folders and fixed blades. Now, most Balisong guys know what I mean by that, but if you don't know what I mean by that, it means that you can easily whip it out like a folder. It folds in your pocket, but you can lock it in the spring latch, and once it's locked, the only thing that's going to keep your knife from, failing on you would be the blade actually just breaking or the handles breaking. I mean, it's not like on a folder where you have a liner lock, a frame lock, or something along that line where the lock could break and the blade could come back and fall on your fingers and cut you. The Balisong is literally a folding fixed blade. So that's why I like Balisongs for EDC the most, and I will do a flipping review of this. This was more of an EDC review. The main reason I made it is because this is the Balisong that I literally take with me every single day, everywhere I go, and I love it for EDC because it fits in the pocket very well. Only really downside I would say about it is that I don't know if it's my pocket clip, but this pocket clip is very shiny, so when I'm trying to be discreet with it in my pocket, it's kind of hard because it can really noticeable when I clip it into my pocket, this shiny pocket clip. But also, I really like how they flush mounted the pocket clip into the handles. I never really talked about that, but instead of just putting a pocket clip on top, they actually drilled out some space and flush mounted in there, which was pretty cool. So that's about it I can see for the knife, or the blade and everything. So that's my favorite EDC Balisong, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope it was informative for you. If you like my videos and want to see more, then please subscribe. It really helps me out starting up on my new channel. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been The Knife Enthusiast. Subscribe, like this video, and I will see you next time.